Hi, I'm Ruth. I am a student in the dotrural Digital Economy Research Hub at the University of Aberdeen, and this slideshow is based on a poster I made that outlines my PhD project. I'm investigating the social impact of the internet in rural Britain. Having lived in various rural and remote places myself, I'm interested in how the internet is being used in these areas and the effect it's having on individuals and communities. There's lots of speculation about this. Some people think the internet can overcome problems of social isolation by connecting people living in geographically remote locations to each other and to the rest of the world, making peripheral regions more viable places to live and work. Others fear that traditional community life will suffer at the expense of connections made through computer screens, compounding the effects of closing schools and post offices. I think it's important to look beyond these assumptions and to start gathering evidence about what's actually happening, so that policies are based on an understanding of how technology is currently being used, the effects it is having, and its capacity to benefit remote and rural regions. I'm using 3 methods to collect this information. First, I'm looking at the Oxford Internet surveys, which are conducted across Britain every 2 years. By comparing the responses of internet users who live in the country with those in towns and cities, we can draw out any differences in their online behaviour. Second, I'm investigating how rural dwellers are using social media through an analysis of Scottish island bloggers, how they form connections online, and their reflections on themes of isolation and community. This graph, which is the output of a social network analysis, shows how bloggers from Lewis and mainland Orkney are particularly prolific. This is reflected in the size of the circles, with lots of interactions between the 2 islands, represented by the thick grey line. And third, I'm talking to internet users directly so that they can have their say about how the internet is affecting their social lives and the role of online and offline relationships in rural life. So far, our findings show that location matters. Rural users report that they see their friends and family less often and are more conservative in their assessments of how the internet has affected their social lives. Whereas users in towns and cities say their contact with friends and family has increased as a result of their internet use, those living in the country feel that the internet hasn't made much difference at all. We believe that this division may exist because of underlying differences in the social behaviour and attitudes of urban and rural internet users, and we'll be exploring this in the remainder of the project. Efforts are being made to create a level playing field in terms of access to broadband, and it's important that we understand how social and cultural differences mean that the technology might be used differently and have different effects in different places.